Today is day 7 for my budget bungalow building, and today I only have 2 workers working because the old man who is the lead carpenter here, the carpenter builder, has to have an off for the day because he had over 20 mango trees to harvest before the prices. He has to harvest it early before the prices plunge down so much due to the lockdown. Now, as of day 6, which was last Friday, the total was 30,335, as you can see on the day 6 build of the budget bungalow. Today is day 7. Now you can see that we have started to file blocks. Also in day 6, we only poured these 3 columns here on this side. And so this morning, they have poured 3 more columns here. So you can see there is the first one that they did today, and that's the second one. They started work 7 o'clock this morning, so that's the second one, and that was the third one on the next corner, because the length here is 9 meters and that's 6 meters there, so every column is 3 meters that way. So that's the whole length of a rebar will fit on that one, whereas here this is 9 meters. So there's 3 more has been done footing wise, and as you can see, the footing is 1 cement to the 1-3-4 mix, 1 cement, 3 sand, and 4 gravel. And some of the response or the comments that I have on my build is I should have been building a 1 meter by 1 meter with 300 deep, but you have to think, thanks for the tip, but you have to think of the topography of the land. I'm actually building on a very solid soil. Now you can see that this soil here, the place we live in Pulang Bato, is called diorite. This is even quarried here for fillings of buildings in the city and roads. This is where they source the diorite here in our place in Pulang Bato. And the reason why I'm building my 60 by 60 by 60 deep column, because if you see the diorite soil that I'm building on where this bungalow is a diorite solid soil. The mechanical element of the soil is the one that's holding so much strength on it that it will hold up to the build that I do. And in fact, I build the column footings deeper than what you suggested, although it's not 1 meter by 1 meter, but you gotta remember the one that you suggested is for the G+1, which is a 2-story building, and this is only a 1-level bungalow. And also another thing, the old house that I'm replacing, the column is only made of wood, 4-inch wood. So another thing is I build this out of my own expense to be given to the old couple that I used the land as a road. Now we will see what they have done so far in the lining of blocks. On the bottom, on this side, we started because the fill will be going this way, so they would build this way. There is a tie beam on the bottom that's been poured on the trench that we dug in, about a foot pour from the bottom to where we pile the hollow blocks now. That's a foot that we poured in, although you cannot see it there because some of those are already filled up, but that's the thing that we have poured. The tie beams with 2 full-length rebars straight on, no cutting, tied into the columns, and then poured 1 foot thick before, and we put the dowels or the ready rebar to file the first concrete. And the mix that we do for our filing of the rebars, we use a 1:4. The one for general purposes, I know that 6:1 is for general purposes, but for heavy duty building, since the blocks I know have no strength, they're only receptacles to the, let me go around the corner. The blocks have no strengths, they're only receptacles to the mix of your building blocks. So we decided to have a heavy duty mix of 1:4. Now another thing that we do, every 3 lines we have a horizontal bar, like you can see here. The full length horizontal bar is put in. That one that you see, that's the horizontal bar that's tied into end of that column there in the corner, and right end to that column there. The same thing on the tie beam on the bottom. It's also full length, not tied, not cut off. So this is the third file. We put a horizontal bar, so the whole length of the 10 mm fits on the 3 columns, like right there on the end of the column and right to the next column. So let it go there to the end of the column, and then it runs through and be tied up to the vertical bars, and it runs through the center column as well and right on the end. So every 3 piles, 3 lines of hollow block, we have a horizontal bar. But we tied it into the column and poured a 1-foot footing before we filed the hollow blocks. And you can see here, we are just getting ready for the distance when we pour the column in between these blocks. The blocks will help heal the forms that are gonna have to be done for the columns. So I believe what we're doing here with a heavy duty mix of 4:1, and every line, every 3 line, there will be a horizontal build, a horizontal rebar to hold in place, will be enough to hold the 2.4 floor to ceiling, the finished floor to ceiling will be 2.4 meters, and then there will be a wood ceiling. So I think my build here is more stronger than some of the houses I've seen. There's one that's so-called building a big house, 2-story house, but their columns are just made of hollow blocks and filled it up with concrete, shape it into a column and filled it up with concrete, and they also pour a floor on a loose soil in an island that is always often hit with earthquake, with no rebars. Just pour the floor as it is. I believe my build is far more stronger, and considering this is a budget bungalow, what I'm trying to show you is that you can build on a budget, but also considering the location of your build, because the location is also a great factor on which you build your strengthening stuff, either in your mix or in your rebars. But luckily, we are building on a diorite soil on its original state, so the mechanical properties of this soil, the diorite, still present to hold back the strength. So now we are also giving space for the intended because the first line of blocks from the tie beam will be the floor line, and then we are also leaving the gap for the door, for the outside door, that's gonna be put in when it's done. So at the end of this day, I'll be giving you how much has been used. That will add to my budget. And day 6, you can remember I left you with a broken mixer. The mixer that I have to fix and buy the parts in that I thought were gonna blow out my budget. And guess what? I only spent about 60 pesos for the spring coil, and they just fix it up here. So it was functioning again. So it doesn't blow out the budget. The mixer still functioning as doing the line of our hollow blocks right now. So this is our latest build for today with 2 workers, Deloy and Fredo. And tomorrow we'll be continuing putting the next 6 columns. Pour, measure it, what they call tonton, making it straight, and then on the proper measurement, and then before we pour the puttings on it. So I believe the blocks will be halted tomorrow, since we will be just pouring the last 6 columns, the footings of that one. But you can see now, this is day 7. After a week, this is now what we have done. And at the end of this video, you will be looking at the amount of money that's spent so far, labor and materials, as of day 7. So I'll give you another look here on how we build it. We purposely very careful that we have a straight line, so when we do the rendering outside, it will not be so thick, or if I want to have the plasterboard inside, it will be easier to stick it on. So I am now contemplating if either using the tile adhesive or cornice cement, if we have it here, to stick on the gypsum board. But it will be a nicer finish to have inside than just the labor intensive wise, because one of the most expensive thing about building, as I have experienced building my castle, building my guest house, building several houses, that a few houses that I have, I mean not several, is the labor is very expensive, and that's why I'm very careful. Learning from all those experience, I'm very careful to utilize the labor that you're paying for to have results in every day. So it's here, day 7. The total will be at the end of this video. So it's now 5 o'clock. What we have done is, like, in total 2, 4, 6, 7 piles of hollow blocks. So you can see that we have to make sure that it's straight, because it's easier for me to render on the outside, be easier for them. And then also, since I'll be using maybe gypsum putty for the inside, then it's easier for me to stick it on when the file is actually, for the internal walls, will be straight. So you can see that there's the footings of the tie beam down there, and this is the pile. So you can see it's really straight. Now I go back, turn around on this chicken, hope that it's in here, and I'll show you here on this angle. There, for today we've used 82 blocks. Five cement for the 82 blocks, 6 cement on the file and the tie beams, and 3 more cement, so 9 cement in all, including the footings. So I'll be calculating the ones used and also the whole rebars. The whole rebars used is 3, but the ones we have used about 5 rebars in total for the guide one there, where you the vertical to be used, although a lot of it is actually the extra that we had from the columns when we have it formed. So there's an extra 1.8 meters from the column, so that's what we're using. So actually we just use the whole rebars. For whole rebars additional, we just use around 4. So this is the door area, and you can see that the vertical rebar is already there holding the door, and we will be pouring this column first on this one when it reached on the actual height that we want it to be. So the height for me here is 2.4 from floor, finish on the floor, 2.4 ceiling height. But this is the door going out. By the side there will be the toilet and bathroom, and this is the on the right side will be the 3-bedroom. So this is the lagi. So this is the latest that we've done. 7 files of hollow block, tie beams for just 2 people here working. Tomorrow we will be we'll stop filing the blocks because we'll continue on doing the measuring of the column. 6 more to go, then we will be pouring that. Then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then you will see a lot of filing going on with 2 of the builders doing the file. The mixer will be very busy. So the mix that I use for the cement, like I said, is 1:4. That's a heavy duty mix. Although the general purpose mix that's recommended for general use is 6:1, but I'm using 4:1, which, and also the horizontal and the vertical beams are 10 mm. Then 8 mm is only for the stirrups to hold the bars in place. But I'll be using that for 8 mm as well for flooring. Make it closer like a mat. And that will be strong, I believe. And I know because the foundation of the ground is very strong. So this is so far day 7, and then I'll calculate it. This is what it looks like from here on the other side. So the one that we file is the one across there. So the soil that we're digging will not run through. So that's what we decided, that we just start from there. But tomorrow, this 6 columns left, this and this 4 here, and there's one here in the corner, will be the one to be stand on, measured, and then pour the puttings on it. Hopefully they will be able to file or pour some tie beams as well, so it'll be easier by Wednesday to file the blocks. So day 7, this is how I am with my budget bungalow build.